Final ending to the blue sky, other parts down below. I'm dealing with a lot right now, marital issues, career change, the passing of my sibling, a baby, and sometimes I feel like I'm running and still can't keep up. Mail and bills have not been touched in 2 weeks, the home is a mess, and I am finally trying to pursue my passion in my career and life, and I keep losing steam with all this other stuff. I wish I had the love and support that comes with a healthy and stable relationship. Today I am feeling a bit off. I got in a heated argument with my parents about them being judgmental and stuff. They do not have a clue what is going on in my marriage, so it makes it so much tougher. They do not understand I am already torn apart on the inside, and then to say something negative to me about my career change or whatever is just pushing me over the edge. I feel bad for raising my voice at them, but my dad is so stubborn and set in his ways he does not understand that my perspective is as valid as his. It is frustrating, and then they were talking about moving here close to us, and I do not have a clue how to tell them that I cannot handle their toxicity around me, plus the fact that my marriage is on the rocks. Worst part is they do not have a clue about the truth about my wife. They would blame me for the dissolution of the marriage. My dad is like that, always thinking I am some dumb foolish kid. Meanwhile, I have always done the right thing and have worked my bottom off for 15 years and saved more money than anyone I grew up with. I am also feeling a bit down about my relationship. Like, what are we really doing here? I guess I kind of do want to put it out there to my wife, like this is what I need from you, so that at least she knows and it's out there and we have a shot of moving in some direction. If she says no, then at least I know. If she says yes, well then, we are moving in a real direction. Honestly, I am scared. I am terrified to put it out there. I guess because it feels like an ultimatum, and maybe I am not ready for the answer that I feel is coming. If I were to guess, I would say my wife is feeling a bit closer to me after yesterday, and that maybe we are in a better place, but I sometimes think that she is in total denial about our situation. Like she just thinks we are fine overall, that she does not need to change her behavior, and that I am the one who needs help. She talks about buying a new house together. I am like, okay, what in the world is she living in right now? Then again, I do not have a clue sometimes. Sometimes her ability to be calculating and manipulative and cold at the same time is astounding, and I am in denial about that. I wish I knew who she really was under all this. I feel like she is hiding her true persona, or some parts of it. I feel like it is a side I would very much dislike. Someone capable of heartlessness, lying, manipulation, etc. I hope that is not the case, but sometimes there are signs. I am going to try the walk away thing again next time she snaps at me. Let us see what happens. We had MC today. MC is trying to get us both to see how we are triggering each other. And MC wants us to be able to talk through an argument in a healthy way. What MC doesn't seem to understand is that she is giving my wife way too much benefit of the doubt. She is totally incapable of taking responsibility for her actions, which is why her saying sorry the other night was a shock. It's never happened and makes me feel like it was manipulation. MC tells my wife, if you feel triggered, take a break and come back to it. But what she doesn't get is that she can take 500 breaks, but every time she comes back to the conversation, she loses her crap within seconds. Everything triggers her. My wife actually said yay, but when I take a break and come back to the conversation, he wants to continue to talk about the same thing and it makes me mad. What the hell? Of course, I want to talk about the issue at hand. That is how we get past it. I feel like this is a losing battle. Every argument I genuinely try to see my part in it, don't blame her and never say you started it, and try to apologize for what I have contributed to any hurt. She never does. In 7 years, she has not apologized first even once or even given a sincere apology. She might say sorry, but in a sarcastic tone and rolling her eyes. This is narcissism at its core. She truly believes she did no wrong and always says you started it. How ridiculous is that to always say that? 99% of the time, it is started by a miscommunication that we both played a role in. But she wants to associate all blame to me. MC does not get it. Then she gets up and leaves in a huff, angrier than when we started, and ignores me for the next day or two. And by the way, I talk in a calm and soft voice, and the whole time she is loud and very abrasive. This is 99% of the arguments. You cannot get a narcissist to understand that she has a role in all this, or that she is not perfect. It is impossible, and I am so sick of trying. I am trying to get MC to see it, but I do not think she gets it, or she is just trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. She is totally manipulated by my wife, who is charming, and I do not think she believes me when I tell her that my wife has not apologized first in 7+ years, and always throws it back on me. We have a housekeeper, and to clarify, I'm not a butler, but yes, I do handle most of the family responsibilities, like buying things, occasionally cooking, much less nowadays. Trying to keep home fairly tidy. She has been making the bed for about 2 months, which doesn't sound like much, but it's a start, right? Mail, bills, cars, finances, etc. Update. Things have been okay at home overall, but not spending much time together, since we had family in town last week and my friend this week. I think you are right, BL. This is what it is. It is clearly some narcissism and other things. But how can it change? She doesn't want it to. She isn't even aware of the term narcissistic personality disorder. That was my hope with the recording, to show MC this and hope she can influence my wife in some way. I doubt it's realistic. It was my hope, though, that she might listen to someone like an MC that she respects, saying you are showing some traits of narcissism, but there is hope with training and learning about it. I have been focused on my work and things I want to do, like spending time with friends, baby, watching sports, without being all dependent on wife and needy or clingy. I have not initiated a date with her in months, and she has not either. It seems she prefers this totally separated marriage. Maybe she does not, but she seems content enough. It hurts. Some days are fine and I stay busy and it is what it is, and other days, like last night, I cried a bit. No, she did not see, looking at old pics. She was so sweet, I just miss her. I know there is no going back. Maybe there is a middle ground. I don't know. Some days I think I can do it if I need to, separate, and be okay. Other days I am like, what am I thinking? That would be a nightmare. I don't want to be single again, trying to awkwardly hit on girls at Target or whatever. But by far the biggest thing holding me back is my sweet little baby, who I adore more every day. I literally cannot go a day without holding and smelling and snuggling and kissing that wonderful thing. Trying not to look at old pictures, but every time I drink, I cannot help it, and then I feel awful looking at how sweet she was, and then I cry. I'm going through the motions, keeping busy, etc., but there is still a bit of denial in me, wanting her to be what she was, or even something close. Overall, the heat is way down at home, like she isn't snapping at me or has not in weeks, and the one time she did, I got up and left like people said, and she apologized, which she never does. There were other times she was bossy or dismissive, and sometimes I didn't voice my opinion because it wasn't worth the conflict, wasn't something I cared enough about. Trying to choose battles here. But you know the messed up part. In some ways, think we were better before MC therapy. Like, it wasn't so awkward all the time because we hadn't put everything all out there like we do in therapy. And now it is like every single action is second-guessed, and we are both in this weird, heightened state of awareness of our actions and scared to just live and love or do whatever the crap we want, even if it means grabbing the other person and giving them a hug. Don't know if that makes sense, but it is like now, we don't interact barely at all. It's beyond awkward. I mean, she says goodbye in the morning with a little hug, and then sometimes hello after work, and then goodnight with a small cheek kiss. And we chat on instant message during the day, but when we are together, like for the 4 hours a day after work, or all day on weekends, we don't talk, interact, touch, etc. I feel like we are so much in our own heads now that nothing is organic, normal. Everything is questioned, and we are reserved and holding back, and it's hurting us. I have been spending more and more time out of the house, even weekends, because I don't like that awkwardness, and I would rather go work at a coffee shop, but it would be nice to not have that. We were doing okay for the last week or so, and a large part of that is me just leaving her be, not really initiating much with her. She seems fine with that. But then today something happened that was ridiculous and upsetting. A couple times a week I have to video chat for work, only about 10 minutes each call, and I politely asked her if she can take baby into the bedroom for those 10 minutes, because the lighting and everything is better in living room. Otherwise, I'm on the bed, it is not as professional and it throws me off. Simple request, considering she spends hours a day in the bed with baby anyways, right? She keeps making excuses as to why she couldn't, none of which made any sense. I feel like I am dealing with a psychopath sometimes. She knows how important this is to me and kept saying stuff like, can you just do it in the bedroom? Or why don't you move a desk in the bedroom? Which is stupid. We don't have room, the lighting is still bad, and for 20 minutes a week. So, I did them in the bed, and they went badly. After I came out and said they didn't go great, I really need to do them out here, but she will not relent for some insane reason, saying those things again. I couldn't believe how unreasonable she was being over something like that. And this is indicative of her in general. Not concerned for anyone else but herself or our baby, won't be asked or told to do anything at all, and totally myopic in her perspective and unsupportive of me. So halfway through her saying these stupid things I said, forget it, and walked away. I legitimately think she has become a sociopath like all the Hollywood people she works with, and you cannot convince a sociopath that they are one. It's so sad it breaks my heart. Like, does she even understands how hard this is as it is, trying to start a whole new career from the bottom, and needing 8 minutes to do a video chat to help me out, and all she must do is lay in bed with baby, which she already does all the time. How does a person justify this in their head? My comment, if you are going to remain in this marriage, it will be on her terms. She does not respect you. In fact, she feels mostly contempt for you. Stop clinging to who she used to be and see her as she is. She is not going to change, because she likes who she is. Accept it or leave her. She is going there to placate and control you, nothing more. Time to decide what you are going to do, as it is obvious at this point that she is not going to do anything to make your marriage or your life better. I agree that she does not have your back, except to X you in it. OP responds, I feel crappy and down today. Had a terrible night of sleep thinking about all this. And the worst part is she is going to spin it in MC tomorrow like some sociopath like she always does. She literally cannot see how clearly wrong she was in such a simple request, and if she isn't able to do even this, then what hope do we have for anything at all? I feel horrible inside, like my guts are being torn out. trying to think about like, was there a miscommunication? Did I not clearly state before and after the video chat that I wanted to do it in the living room? Was I not clear enough? Maybe I wasn't. I mean, if she asked me a simple thing like that, I would get up and do it. What's the big freaking deal? Why argue over something so inane? I don't have the strength to just leave. I don't. I see my baby and I can't go a day without hugging and kissing and seeing baby's photos. I don't want to start over. And we had a decent week until this stupid little thing. The worst thing is she has not even had the awareness to recognize she did something wrong. She never has. And say sorry or even try to initiate dialogue. She just does what she always does. Has ignored me since I walked away yesterday. And she will continue to do so until MC tomorrow. I seriously think she is becoming a sociopath or something. It is worse than this too. She has been doing these weirdly calculating things like going over the top with our friends lately, always giving flowers and gifts for absolutely nothing. Like way over the top. And the last few dinners at friend's house she was in the kitchen doing dishes after the dinner every time. Guess what? In 10 years, she never helped me with dishes even once. Am I wrong to think that that is really messed up? She won't budge or initiate dialogue. Should I just send her a message and tell her how it made me feel? Tired of this BS ignoring stuff, I really am. It's affecting my health negatively. I'd rather put it out there, but knowing her, she will just justify her actions anyways. I sort of want to just send her a message and tell her how I feel. Honestly, this all goes hand in hand with this narcissism. This is all just a power play for her. She doesn't like to feel humbled in any way and she wants to leave the conversation with me being demeaned and lowly. That is all this is, and it has been like that for years. Therefore, I cannot even ask for a glass of water in our house because she has this insane sensitivity to anyone asking something of her, as if it makes her a servant or something. It stems from severe insecurity, obviously. So, we are talking and she is almost berating me saying I am not empathizing, which is total BS, because I even said sure I can work with you on this. We can set up the bedroom for when I have a video chat, make sure baby has toys, you have food, whatever. Keep in mind this is 8 minutes we are talking about. 8 minutes, and even still she wouldn't relent, acting like this was some huge imposition. I sent MC a long email about it, saying I am just fed up. The thing that happened this week was more so upsetting because we came off what felt like a good week together, and it felt like progress. But I'm starting to think that this is how it is with her. She's an angry person with some serious personality disorders, and just because we can have a decent week, doesn't mean that everything is alright. This morning sort of confirmed that. Every morning we have a routine where she brings baby in to wake me with a kiss. Well, today she didn't, and so I sent her a text like always and she doesn't respond. Sent another, no response for 30 minutes. Guess she was on the phone. So, I peek my head out the door and she see me and I motion where is baby. And she gives me a really ugly look and thrusts her hand in the air in a rude gesture, like I'm on the phone, leave me alone. Hard to describe, but you all know the look and behavior I'm talking about. Just rude. So, I step out, grab baby, go back into the room and slam the door loudly. In the past I would have not done that, and then I would have wanted to talk about why she was rude earlier, which would only have resulted in her browbeating me until I somehow apologized to her. Amazing how that happens. Is that called gaslighting? Whatever it's called, she is the master of spinning things to make them seem like she was wronged, always getting her out of taking responsibility. It's very immature. So anyways, slam and played with baby. Then I hear a slam from the other side of the apartment. She does that a lot. She's like a baby who imitates everything around her. Anyways, I just couldn't believe that crap. Last night I took care of baby because she had a late meeting, and still this morning I'm met with this toxic behavior. F that. I don't deserve that. The hard part is that we have this life built and I don't know what to do or if I even want or am strong enough to change it. We have this wonderful neighborhood, friends with babies all the same age, a community, events, trips to the zoo, blah blah etc. Every week we have 1 to 2 events with these friends we have made with similar aged babies. I'd be lying if I said I wanted to give that up. I mean, I love it, I've made some nice friends. But why do I put up with such hostility and neglect at home? I wake up, she no longer says good morning, touches me, or even talks to me. The only time she talks around me at all is if baby is with us, and then she is sort of talking to me through baby, if that makes any sense. She doesn't interact in any way, no how are you, have a nice day, etc. She gets ready, takes baby and leaves for work, and only then will give the ceremonial okay see you later. During the day, she does her thing at work, I do mine. We usually check in with each other on instant message. Ironically, on IM, our conversations seem sort of normal. Quite strange, right? She gets baby and they come home. She often doesn't even acknowledge me when coming home but will use baby again and say, go say hi to papa. She doesn't cook or clean or anything like that, just takes care of herself and baby. Typically, she is on her laptop from the second she walks in until falling asleep, interspersed with baby time. She is working or relaxing, shopping, watching shows. She will often do things that are either irritating, like talk with a mouthful of food, or disrespectful, like teach baby something that is counter to what I believe and sometimes even counter to what we both agreed on. like letting baby watch cartoons, or dismissive, like when I have an idea about something about baby she will just say no, or even hurtful, like leave a mess for me to clean up, like let baby cray on the sofa or leave out dishes for me, or even sometimes other things like ask for my help in a demanding tone. But mostly, the days are filled with just excessive neglect and disrespect. For me this is especially hurtful because of all I do for her. If I am sick or I get hurt, burn myself cooking, hurt myself playing sports, she literally couldn't care less, doesn't show any emotion or concern or any sort of nurturing qualities to me. And forget about any form of intimacy, bonding, etc. In fact, as strong as my libido is, I am so turned off by her neglect that I don't even want it with her right now. So, I don't say anything. But, when I voice myself about any of this, she then loses her cool, blows up, turns into a total monster, raises her voice, and gets furious within seconds and then defaults every single conversation to let's just talk about this with MC, which we never do. It's so unhealthy I can't even express it in words, to live like this and not be able to talk about it with a healthy and mentally stable individual. She just literally isn't capable of hearing anything that sounds like criticism, and any of these would. She loses her mind and then goes into attack mode. She can't hear honey you left a mess for me to clean up again, or why are you letting baby watch cartoons? I thought we decided together not to do that. Or I felt hurt that you didn't care when I burned myself, or I didn't like that you ignored me all day. How come you didn't ask if I wanted anything to eat for dinner when you picked up food? Or to be more general, this is not working. The way you have been in general, neglectful and self-absorbed, unnurturing, ignoring me, never talking or interacting with me. It's not working for me and is making me unhappy, hurt, and resentful. I am coming to terms with this. I think she wants the marriage to work out, but on her terms only, but truly doesn't care for me in the way she used to, or even needs me. It hurts to even write that, but it is true. She works with alpha males all day long and she likely sees me as this beaten, bruised, broken, weak guy, and the truth is, I have become all that. I am admitting it. I did not know it for years, but each time she blew up at me, and each time I let it slide, I became weaker, and weaker, and weaker, to the point where I do not even know who the hell I am anymore. I want to mention one thing that came out of session. She said she is no longer scared if it doesn't work out. I was shocked. How cold and indifferent she has become. It explains a lot, because if her mindset is that I am the problem and she must change and there is a better life for her out there, then that explains why her behavior has been so completely effortless and checked out. I was just floored when she said that. I mean, this really is a totally delusional human being who has become so jaded by this Hollywood BS that she doesn't even understand what it means to treat people right anymore. So now, the environment in the house is mostly just calm. It is not super loving. It's very boring. It's not a satisfying lifestyle for me, but not super unhealthy or toxic. It's like this. Wife comes home with baby. I am usually home first since I work my own hours these days. They say hello, I kiss and play with baby, wife says hello to me, usually a hug, and then she goes to bedroom to get on her laptop or sits in living room with her laptop. She is on her laptop from the moment she is home until bed, sometimes working, sometimes watching shows, etc. Like I said, it's very boring. We take turns playing with baby. I cook and eat dinner. Wife often eats a late lunch at work, so doesn't eat with me either. I dislike this. I would love us to be a real family, cook together, eat together. She is clueless about things and says, I don't want to eat late, I'm trying to lose weight, but eats horribly during the day and tons of chocolates and sweets, and of course zero exercise. She can't understand why she isn't losing weight. BTW, I only cook healthy food and rarely ever carbs, and I am a great cook. But I feel like I am in the prime of my life in some ways, and I am living like a freaking 80-year-old, and she seems fine with that. Her parents have been like that for years. I want excitement, and passion, and spontaneity, and adventure, and bonding, and fun family togetherness, and all we do is sit around on laptops and binge-watch TV. Anyways, I think I got off the track a bit. But what I am trying to say is that she really is putting in effort to be a better person, less rude and dismissive and toxic. So I don't think a move now would help. In fact, knowing how she is, if I said I'm leaving, she wouldn't ever fight or argue. She would simply say okay, and that would be the end of us. She just isn't in the place where she would fight for me in any way. A hard pill to swallow, but the truth. Her mentality is probably, if he doesn't want to be with me, then I'm not going to fight over him, and the truth is, I would be the same today if she did that. Half a year later, the MC saying, I had tried so hard and made so many changes to try and save the marriage, but still not seeing as much effort from wife, I came to the hard conclusion that my wife simply didn't love me anymore. Not in the way that she used to, or in the way that I need, anyways. Which is why I have pulling out my hair, wondering why no matter how hard I tried and everything I did, she simply wouldn't give anything back to me. No nurturing, care, affection, intimacy, love, nothing. After all that, she brought up separation when I talked honestly in session about feeling neglected and unloved. Imagine my surprise, that after all her abuse and neglect, that she brought up separation. At first, I said no, it's not an option, I won't discuss it. But then I realized that I am doing what I've always done with this relationship. Chasing her. I decided to stop. And I told her in MC I am done chasing someone who wants to flee. If that's what she wants, then so be it. I said if we separate it's on my terms, not hers. She wanted to continue to work on the marriage. I said no, if I am gone then I am done and moving on. We will co-parent our girl. I cannot be alone in an apartment, not seeing my girl as much, and waiting for wife to figure out her issues. I want and need love and affection and bonding and won't wait. A couple weeks later I was looking for apartments, a couple days away from signing the lease on one. It was the lowest point of my life, but I decided to try one more time to talk to her before I went through with it. We had the first open and honest discuss in maybe half a decade. She finally admitted to a lot of her abuse and hurt and neglect and said sorry for things. She said that she wrongly assumed that if I asked for something or even had to discuss something difficult with her, like something she did that was hurtful or inconsiderate, etc., that she wrongly assumed it was an attack on her, that it meant I thought she was bad or inferior, etc. So, I asked if she still wanted me to leave and she said she wanted to try. Wow, okay. I said let's exchange a very honest email, in writing, about our needs in this relationship so that there is no confusion. She agreed and we did. So since then, I can see her trying to be kinder and affectionate in little bits. It is heartwarming to see anything at all. It's far from perfect, but still, it is nice to see that she sort of cares. This brings me to the dilemma. I don't want to look back if this doesn't work out, and live with regrets, knowing I could have done more to save this marriage. But this means giving myself completely to this process, and her, and allowing myself to love her again, even fall in love again. What I mean is, that I can't bring myself to fight past the resentment, hurt, and pain, and do the type of things that make her love me, such as kissing her out of nowhere, being romantic, giving her compliments, without giving myself over to her in this process, if that makes sense. However, I can't bear to fall for her again and then be hurt again. I just can't. I have never felt lower in my life and had 7 rough years, and it took me most of this year to finally be able to protect myself a bit and step outside of my experience and put it all in perspective. If I let her in again, she could destroy me, and I fear that. So, you see the catch-22. I could give my defenses up, protect myself, and not give her too much of me, but that may in turn result in a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, of course it's going to end if I act closed off and don't give myself over to the process. In addition, I told MC that I am done with marriage counseling. I want to see if my wife truly cares without this judge overseeing us. And if we separate, then I am 100% done and moving on. I finally stood up for myself and it felt good to do that, even if it does hurt me to think about it. So, in the last week she has made efforts to be closer to me, touch me a bit more, even make me oatmeal for breakfast a few times. Already some nice steps, considering she rarely touches me and hasn't cooked more than 5 meals for me in 10 years. She is starting to see me differently again, I can see it. I guess the answer is somewhere in the middle. Give as much of myself to this process, but not delusionally or carelessly. Stop and put it in perspective and be vigilant. Right, she is genuinely trying. She is in therapy, I see, trying to be a better person. I see her making small efforts. It is hard for her. She had a crappy role model of a mother. She runs a company. She is the primary caregiver of a baby that she is still breastfeeding after nearly 3 years. I am not making excuses, I am being understanding. There is a difference. Some people think leaving their spouse over a tiny thing is the way to go, but I do not. I want to give it all I have got, and the truth is I love her deeply and do not want to be without her. So, I feel completely stuck in limbo. Too guilty, too afraid, too weak and codependent to separate from her and explore the world to see if there is more out there. Someone that would treat me like they enjoy being around me, like they find me attractive, like they truly love me. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to let down my friends and family and baby girl. I don't want my wife to miss me and be lonely because she doesn't have the foresight to see where this is going. And yet I am also too unfulfilled, too hurt, too resentful, too scared to fully commit to us anymore as well, to open my heart to her again. I'm really having a hard time. I feel like my heart is wrenched out of me and I don't know what to do. Some people told me to leave her a year ago, while things were horrible and we were in therapy. Well, I now know that would have been a huge mistake. Those people were wrong. We would have separated on horrible terms, full of anger, resentment, and lack of understanding. After nearly 2 years of therapy, we are in a better place. We understand each other more, our flaws, our shortcomings, and it's not so much about anger, but about a fundamental understanding that we are different people than we were, her much more so than me, and she admits that, and that she simply may not be capable of giving me what I want. I do not even feel angry about that. I feel bad for her. She is doing the best she can with what her messed up parents gave her. I feel awful for her. But at the end of the day, how much more can I take, being invisible, being unloved? This is the truth. My comment sounds like she is giving breadcrumbs and you're waving a flag touting improvements and making excuses for the rest. If this works for you, then maybe in another year you will have somewhat of a marriage, again except without the bonding. Sooner or later, you have to fish or cut bait. Right now, all you have is a couple tugs on the line. And hate to say this, but that isn't fishing.